Welcome back to the Diamond Podcast with Polka Dot Powerhouse. My name is Celeste Hartwell, and today I am so honored and excited to be introducing you to the lovely Valerie Dusing. Valerie lives in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. She is a managing director as well as a Mary Kay representative. And welcome, Valerie, to the show.
Thank you, Celeste. It's a joy to be here in your space.
Thank you. Well, I'm so happy to have you here. You've been a diamond for quite a while. Tell me how long.
I have been a diamond for at least 4.5 years
Wow.
already. 4.5 years already. I can't believe that. Wow. Um, yeah, almost 5, just shy of 5. So
Time
I love being
moves fast when we're having fun.
exactly. That's the perfect way to put it. Yes, I love
That's
diamond.
that's awesome. And so going back to like you are a managing director as well as a Mary Kay representative, why do you do that work? What do you love about it?
I'm going to take on Mary Kay first. I love Mary Kay because I love what the company does for women.
Hmm.
We empower women globally. And where other companies were still testing on animals, Mary Kay was the first United States company to launch a moratorium against all animal testing here stateside. That was Mary Kay, and other companies followed suit. When Mary Kay went into China, they stayed at the table to work with the Chinese government to push to stop all animal testing. And as of right now, there is no animal testing in China, which I'm very
What?
proud. Instead of Mary Kay pulling out and leaving, Mary Kay, they didn't do it alone. There were other companies there involved also at the table, but they gently pushed to get that done. And I'm very proud that our company followed suit with that. That when devastating fires happen across the globe, Mary Kay comes in and plants trees. Mary Kay
Hmm.
gives money to build shelters for women and children. Our foundation gives money to help women in domestic violence situations, to help shelters, to do instrumentally involved in giving grants to agencies that are doing research for cancers that affect women. I mean,
Wow.
there's so many things that Mary Kay doesn't advertise and put out there that we as consultants and myself being an ambassador for the Mary Kay Ash Foundation, I'm very proud of we're following what we say.
Hmm.
It's a very ethical organization, and I love it because I can finally use my science background. So I'm that person who, when you say, "Oh, I use this product," and I say, "Great, what do you love about it? What do you love that it does for your skin?" And they say, "I don't really know what my active ingredients are," and I can explain to them, even if it's not my product, I can decipher the ingredients and tell them, well, this is the first ingredient, the second, the third, this is why it's doing this for your skin. And not have to always use the technical terms so people can go, oh, wait, this really is good for my skin. Yes, it really is good for your skin. And
That's
then in polka dot,
awesome.
yeah, in polka dot, I can relate it to women. And I always remind everybody in polka dot that you may not be everyone's cup of tea. And that's why we have an abundance mentality where there could be 3 Mary Kay consultants, 2 LeBry consultants, and I can't think of another direct sales company with skincare right now, but I might not be your cup of tea. I might be a cold glass of gin and you don't drink gin. But because we have that abundance, we don't put a limitation on things. We believe in connection and collaboration over competition. And I don't know
Yeah.
another organization for women that does that. So Mary Kay and Polka Dot beautifully together.
I love that. And it just feels like you have such a servant's heart,
Is that good?
Valerie. Yeah,
I mean,
and
that's how I feel.
yeah, and you're being able to serve women in all of these different ways, right? Which is really beautiful.
Mm-hmm. Perfectly. And I point that out to other women when they come to a polka dot event, or I'm somewhere and someone asks me about polka dot. I always tell them that, yes, polka dot is a women's connection company. Men can join, but they don't, because we're not about, give me this referral, give me these cards. We really want you to connect. So even though you might not need the service of me, we know there's a dot out there who can help for something that you need. My closest friends in life, I met through this organization.
I love that.
It's just, I wouldn't have people like you, Celeste, in my life. There's no correlation in my life that would have directed me to you.
Yeah.
But for, say, polka dot. And being a diamond, it's, I keep saying diamond is supersized polka dot. It really is, because these women, they really are in it for their business. Yes, they're still connecting. Yes, they're still collaborating. They're making friends and having fun and smiling and laughing and joyful, but they're also in it for the education aspect of it, how they can help people and how people can help them without even realizing it. So having, the small group mastermind, I said after my first year of Diamond that I would critique and state what I loved about Diamond, and it was my small group mastermind. I had a 25% increase in my sales with my business after 6 months in my small group, because they helped me get out of my own way and get out of my head and get into action. And there was no, should you do this? Should you? It literally was, have you tried this? Have you looked at it from this angle? Have you? And I love that aspect. And my first year in Diamond, I had the best year I'd ever had in my Mary Kay career. And my director, who was skeptical when I first joined, because let's face it, Polka Dot Powerhouse, she looked at that and she said, if this is what your connection with these women are doing for you, never quit. And I have no intention. You'll hear women say often, I'm a dot for life. I am a dot for life, and I will be a diamond dot for life.
That's awesome.
There is nothing else out there like it.
Yeah.
Nothing. And I have belonged to many organizations. There's just nothing else out there like it. And if someone says, hey, can someone explain this to me? Or can someone help? It's amazing how many women jump forward to say, oh, I'm there. I'm there for you. I've got your back. Let's talk. Let's meet. And they're just helping, because I think a majority of the women I've met and become friends with in dots, they have a servant's heart.
Yes.
And I met you on a speed connect, and we set up our first connect after that.
Right.
I don't know what else I can say, but I think every woman in America, whether she has a business, doesn't have a business, is looking for friends, is looking for collaboration, is looking to have more joy in her life, unadulterated joy. Join Dots for a year, and don't just sign up and join.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter how introverted you are, because I truly am an introvert at heart. Get involved. Have that first connect. It will change your aspect on so many things to know that these women are there and waiting for you to reach out. I often ask people at the end of a connect, how can I be of service to you? Or, have you ever connected with Celeste Hartwell? I think you should connect with Celeste. I think you guys would click and you would have a great time. And I always refer people I connect with to other people to connect with. Yeah.
I love that. Do you have a favorite like dot story of like how you connected with somebody who you wouldn't have otherwise and how that relationship blossomed?
Um, I'll talk to you about my bestie, who I just love and adore, and that is Kirstine Williamson Gwynn, and she was the managing director of the UK chapter, and she's still an active member in the UK chapter. And we were on a Zoom together. It was one of the very first UK Zooms, and they're 6 hours ahead of us in time. So I was there at 6 a.m. I am not a sunshine 6 a.m. girl. But the very first time I jumped on, I made an effort and got dressed and put makeup on and smiled a lot and set up a connect with her. And being raised the way I was by a Scotsman, and our household wasn't a typical American household. There was a lot of slang and things from the UK that were used in our house on a regular basis. So sometimes I would say something to her and she would start laughing because it wasn't the typical thing that you would hear from an American, um, or the foods we ate. And because my father was trying to keep the old world here, which
Mm.
my children were raised the same way. But if it hadn't been for Dots, I would never have met Kirstine. And to this day, we try to connect at least once a month on Zoom. We may imbibe in a G&T, which usually means that Val has to make sure her afternoon is wiped, because Val is wiped after that.
Yeah, yeah,
No,
yeah, yeah.
after that. I'm going to tell you my dad's story if it's all right.
I would love
I,
to hear it.
I met a woman at least a full year before I saw Dots, and she said, you should join Polka Dot. Well, I lost her business card and I never gave it two thoughts. Then I went to my therapist for a checkup for the neck up, which I believe everybody should do. And she said, I've got an assignment for you. I need you to find a group of women, positive, upbeat women, whether it's a tribe or a group
Hold
or a
on.
club.
I just want to pause you right there. You said check up for the neck up. Does that mean like a therapist?
Yeah.
I love that terminology. I've never heard anybody say that before. And it took me a couple seconds to realize what you meant. So like I just wanted to like make sure that the listener is like hearing. I love that. Anyway, so
Yeah.
your therapist
Um,
said
my therapist said,
find a group.
find a group. I'll see
Yeah.
you in 2 weeks. Don't come back unless you've done this. I went home that afternoon and I went on the death scroll of Facebook. That's what I call it. When you get in Facebook and you get caught in that, and then like 2 hours have gone by and it's, oh my God. Well, I saw
Yeah.
an ad for Polka Dot Powerhouse from a woman named Casey Thorson. And I like polka dots and I like pink and orange. And okay, so I messaged her and she said, instead of me trying to explain everything in a Facebook message, why don't we meet for coffee? And she gave me the address and the time and the day, and I met her. 2.5 hours later, I still didn't understand the word connection, because in my brain, connection meant putting two pieces of Legos together. Snap, snap. I couldn't, I couldn't break past that. So she said, you know what? Come to the breakfast. We have a breakfast meeting on this date at this time. Come as my guest. And I went, okay. And I went, and as I reached for the doorknob of the country club where the meeting was held, I thought, oh my God, what if this is a sewing group? Shit, what if they're a bunch of quilters? But I opened the door and I walked in and I literally peeked around the corner, and Casey spotted me and came around, got me all signed up, and then handed me over to a woman named Kathy Miller. Unbeknownst to me, this was Kathy's first meeting. But she took me around the room like a pro and introduced me to different people, kind of stayed beside me, because she herself is an extrovert. So nothing was fearful for her. She
Yeah.
put me at a table between two other introverts. She's a very smart woman. And they both said, "Oh, you're new." They talked with me. Um, and they said, "Okay, you're going to have to stand up and introduce yourself. It's a 1 minute. And here, use this icebreaker card." And I panicked, walked into the bathroom, and threw up.
Oh my God.
Took my toothbrush and toothpaste because I do travel with them. Because, you know, and I was brushing my teeth when another member came in and said, "Oh my God, why don't I ever carry a toothbrush and toothpaste? What a brilliant idea." I just left it like that. Okay. Went back into the room. It came time for me to introduce myself. I stood up. I could feel myself shaking. And then I sat down and people were clapping and laughing. And to this day, I have no idea what I said. Did I join that day? No, because I'm one of those people that needs a little bit of layering. I need to know
Mm.
more and more and more. Well, Casey sent me a text and said, "I just wanted to remind you that there's a special that expires on midnight on the 31st of December. And I think it was $50 off your membership and 3 extra months." I saw that and thought, I got to do it. Well, at 11:45 that night, I messaged Casey because I couldn't get through. It wouldn't go
Oh.
through. It wouldn't go through. And I'm like, what is going on? Casey happened to pick up the phone. And I said, "Oh, good, you're awake." She's like, "It's New Year's Eve and it's 11:45. Why are you calling?" I told her and she goes, "Oh, it's your security settings. Turn off your pop-up blocker. You'll be fine. Good night." I
Oh my
did
God.
that. I joined and the rest is history.
Wow.
And I found out,
Never looked back.
yeah, I've never looked back. And I found out in the first 2 months, people don't just show up at your door knocking and saying, "Ooh, I want to connect with you." You actually have to reach out and request.
Yeah.
So when I meet someone who I can sense was like I was, I
Mm.
always recommend a few dots that I know they would love to connect with because they'll ease them into the whole connection process, which is basically in simplicity, just getting to know someone.
Yeah.
That's all it is. That's all connecting is getting to know someone. And I always tell people if I can join a person whose graduating class, only 2 people ever heard my voice.
Wow.
And that was in the yearbook, that people didn't even know what I sounded like because I was so quiet, so shy.
Wow.
You wouldn't know it now, but
Do you feel like Dots has had an impact on helping you not be so shy?
yes, it's helped build not only my self-confidence, but my self-esteem. I
Mm.
no longer look at myself as not being enough. And that's through the support of my dot sisters. Um, when I joined, I never thought about becoming a managing director of a chapter ever.
Mm.
During the pandemic, our founder did daily positivity Zooms. They were 1 hour long. It didn't matter if there were 16 people on it, 60 or 110. It was 1 hour long. Everyone got to introduce themselves, say a little bit about what they did. If there was time that allowed, people got to share celebrations, goals, so many things. Plus, she would always ask a fourth question, like, "What's your favorite guilty pleasure? What's your favorite food? What's your favorite film, book?" You know, high heels are tennis shoes. Always tennis shoes. I am long past the high heel life. Um, she did that, and it allowed me. I really think that those positivity Zooms saved my life
Mm.
because I was unfortunately one of the first people to get COVID. I
Wow.
was down for 6 weeks. I was in and out of the hospital. And my lovely gravelly singing voice is the gift of COVID that keeps on giving.
Mm.
But it was that daily getting in to hear everyone else, even when I was not able to speak or, heaven forbid, put a camera on. But I also got to know how many women that I couldn't wait to connect with once I was able to speak again and do things. And at that time during COVID, I was trying to do as many as 5 to 7 connects a day.
Wow.
Just because I knew we were all in the same boat, maybe different ships,
Mhm.
but we were all in the same boat. And it's funny when we have like a sisterhood summit or a celebration, 2 events that take part within the dot world. It's like the best family reunion on the planet with no creepy uncles.
Yeah.
Because every family's got one.
Yeah, for sure, for sure.
Too. Yeah,
So I'm a little bit curious, like, what advice would you give to anyone who's considering joining Polka Dot or Diamond membership specifically?
don't wait.
Mm.
Don't wait. And I had someone recently reach out to me and say, we just did this and the price is this. And I say, okay, let's break it down. You're looking at the price of the first year versus the cost. And our 309 in the world of groups and networking and is minimal. It is
Yeah.
really minimal. And
Yeah.
if you break it down by 12, suddenly it becomes doable.
Mhm.
And your renewal the next year is 209. And I always tell everybody, renew early. It's not going to change your date. Diamond is more expensive, but there are things that come with Diamond that you aren't expecting, like your own small group mastermind, like a large group mastermind, master classes and
Mhm.
business classes that are being offered free from other Diamond members.
Right.
Goal setting every month. So the first Monday of every month is goal setting. It's an hour long. There are co-working hours. There are what you're doing right now. That is through Diamond.
Yeah.
Um, I always tell everyone you don't know what you don't know until you know what you don't know.
Right.
And um, I have helped other women join our worldwide chapter that I've
Mm.
met through other organizations. And recently I just ran into one and Danielle and I were talking and I said, I just saw that you joined Polka Dot. She said, well, between you and Wendy, you both spoke so highly of it. I knew I had to join. I just knew I
Mm.
was missing a mark. And I'm so happy that she joined. But I really think for me, I didn't think I would want Diamond right away.
Mm.
So I joined as just a regular member. Then I went to a What is Diamond Day, where you got to learn more about the features of Diamond. And it all made sense to me. Complete sense. Elaine, who is our managing director for Diamond, likes to say it's a buffet.
Mhm.
And you get to sample and take what you want. And anybody who's seen me at a buffet, as long as it's celiac free, I'll take 2 plates.
Yeah.
Because I'm going to load up on the veggies because that's what I like.
Mhm.
Um, yeah, I'm not a shrimp gal, but I'll eat the veggies and about 3 creme brulees. That's what I say to women. If you're in dots, join Diamond. You can join at any time of the year, and your fee will be prorated. But the you will notice the aspects and the women that are in there, yourself included, really are more elevated in their desires and what they want to do with their business. And I told my husband the other day, even if, let's say one day I wake up and I'm done with Mary Kay, I will still be a diamond.
Mm.
Because there's so much more you can learn from the
Yeah.
women in diamond. I'm in the
I
smallest group I've ever been in my life. There's 3 of us. And it's amazing the amount of things we get done with just 3 of us in 90 minutes.
I think this is such a beautiful point that I feel like you're not quite saying it, Valerie, but I just want to like articulate it. It's like diamond is often viewed as a level of membership within the Polka Dot Powerhouse world that is meant for business owners. And I think that that is true. Like the majority of the women in there are business owners. That's true. But I think that there is space to continually learn and elevate our lives in lots of different areas, which I know that like when I facilitated small group masterminds, it was like, we're going to look at you like a whole person. I think that's one of the beauties of Polka Dot
Mm-hmm.
Powerhouse in just in general, right? Is that we look at people as a whole person instead of just a business owner. Um, and and when I was facilitating, I was always clear, like, yeah, if some shit is coming up in your personal life, like bring it to the table, right? Like this is where we are here to support you. We are here to you're multifaceted, right? And
Mm-hmm.
so yeah, so I hear you. I feel the same way, like diamond for life for sure. Um because it's such a powerful, impactful, there's just such deeper relationships I feel like are made easier in diamonds than maybe just being a part of another chapter. And I don't know because I'm worldwide, so it's a little bit my entire chapter membership is Zoom based anyway, but within diamonds I can get really deep with people very quickly.
And I was spoke to about I was told about diamond when I first joined, but it intimidated me.
Hmm.
I didn't believe that I was at that level. And then I became a managing director and I had a chat with Wendy Giuliano, and she broke it down into the simplest form, and she just said, "Do you want to join?" And I'm like, "Yeah." Tell me what I got to do. She's like, "Just go on the website and upgrade. It's all you have to do." And I did it, and I haven't looked back. And I've had other members of my chapter join Diamond. Some took part in everything, some didn't, but nobody says you have to.
Right.
But I'm that person that I want to take part in everything. It's not that I have a fear of missing out. It's I don't want to miss someone else's master class when maybe that's the piece in my puzzle I'm missing. Or
Hmm.
maybe it's something that I can share with someone else in our chapter or in another chapter and say, remember when you were talking about, well, I just heard this person and I listened, and you're a diamond and it's in the vault because we have a vault in diamond,
Right.
where you can go back and listen to recordings and watch them. And I mean, if you can't tell, I love Polka Dot. Whether I'm a managing director or not, I will still have this passion for Polka Dot and
Yeah.
for Diamond. And uh, I I can share with you that my family sees a different person now.
Hmm.
That not only my husband, but even our 3 adult children have said, "You're nicer, you're calmer,
Hmm.
you don't stress like you used to." And it's because we don't have the drama that comes with other organizations. And it's a joke in my family. Give me no trouble. I'm in my pink bubble, which is Mary Kay. But there's competition in Mary Kay,
Hmm.
and I don't thrive on that.
Yeah,
That is not.
same.
I would stress out all the time and just all that heavy weight. Now I don't have any of that, and I came to this straight from having breakfast with one of my dot sisters who I had not seen since December.
Oh my
And we
goodness.
got caught up, and I had put a timer on my phone because I knew I wanted to get out the door at a certain time. The timer went off. I turned it off, and the restaurant came to us and said, "Normally we don't do this, but you've had the table for 2 hours.
Yeah, time to go.
Time to go." And then I'm looking at my watch going, "Whoa, I really got to go."
Yeah,
uh,
yeah,
I didn't have that before in my life.
yeah,
So whether I have a business or not, I will be a dot for life.
yeah.
I love the
That's
fact
beautiful.
that when dots travel across the US, they know that Valerie has a bed and breakfast bed for them,
Mm,
that they can come and stay at our house. Um, this last summer, I think I had 4 dots stay at my house from other parts of the US, and I absolutely positively loved it. And they didn't have to stick at my house. They could come and go and do whatever. Um, but Stephanie, Kina Ray, and her husband and her son came and stayed at her house. And Stephanie and I went and met another dot for dinner that night. And I didn't want that night to end because it was just so immensely and enormously wonderful to be in their presence.
nice. I love that. Well, I feel like that is Polka Dot in a nutshell. And I feel like this conversation, Valerie, we could clearly continue talking for hours because it is such a magical organization. And I really appreciate you sharing your expertise, your perspective, how Diamond specifically has helped your business and your perspective, and also just how Polka Dot in general has helps you come out of your shell and be a more outgoing, confident person in a lot of ways. I think it's really magical. So, with that, I super appreciate you being here. Thank you so much for your time. And we'll see everybody on the next episode.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you.